Do you know what really sucks? Is sitting down to edit your project and realizing that you have gaps in your coverage or shots missing. You need to have a really good, specific, and detailed shot list. Head over to filmmakersecrets.com/shot list, SHOTLIST, to get a killer shot list template along with some training where I show you step by step exactly how to use it. Are you a filmmaker that is shooting for the edit, or are you just editing everything that you shot? Filmmakers have the power to evoke emotion, inspire thought, and drive universal change in this world. Right now, a real seismic shift is happening in the film industry. This is your best chance to join a new filmmaking movement. You have been called to create an everlasting impact with your unmatched, deep desire to tell authentic stories. So how does a filmmaker thrive in an environment that is almost intentionally designed to bring you down? That is the question, and this podcast reveals the answer. What's happening, filmmakers? It's George VK. Welcome to Filmmaker Secrets, episode number 60. Are you a filmmaker that is shooting for the edit, or are you just editing everything that you shot? Coverage versus intention. So what is coverage? Coverage is simply the order in which that you shoot the scene, in which that you cover the scene. So not necessarily the order of the shots, but how much of the scene and the action and the dialogue are you covering with all kinds of different angles and setups. Especially when we're talking about filmmaking, it is so budget constrained and time constrained because we have a lot to do in a short amount of time, right? So instead of trying to cover the whole scene from every possible angle, it will serve you best to have intentional coverage so that you know exactly what part of the scene is going to be covered from what angle. Now, I've been on the receiving end of both sides of the extreme spectrum here. I've shot a feature film where each scene was covered from every possible angle, every possible camera distance, shot, framing, all the way through, from beginning of the scene to the end, because the director really wanted to make sure that they are, quote unquote, covered, right? So that they can, quote unquote, rescue the film in post-production. So they knew that they have a million different options to cut to and to save the performance, so to say. They always had a backup plan. Plan B, C, all the way through Z. Now, that is definitely not the way that I like to work. But I've also been on the side of the other spectrum where the scene was covered with one take, a oneer. So there's no cutting, but every scene was basically a one continuous shot to where you don't really have any coverage besides that one master. And you run into a situation where if you do need to cut for timing or performance or any sort of mistake that you didn't catch on set, then you're really out of luck because you are constrained to that one take, that one shot, that one master. So it is our job as filmmakers to really find a happy medium, right? We want to make sure that we are covered sufficiently to be able to cut to different angles and different intentions. But we also want to make sure that we're not over covering to where we're just wasting time grabbing shots left and right just to make sure that we're covered when it comes time to sit down and edit our project. So how do we make sure that we are intentional with our coverage? Well, it all starts with pre-production, right? Prep is the foundation of our whole film project. So as you are storyboarding, as you are shot listing, as you're doing the overhead diagrams in pre-production, you want to make sure that you have an intention and a purpose behind every shot and the amount of the scene that that shot is covering. So let's say for our purposes, there's a scene where a husband is washing the dishes and the wife comes in to interrupt him, to surprise him with a gift for his birthday that is upcoming or something like that, right? I'm just being giving a primitive example here. So let's say to start out, we want to cover that shot with a master. So a wide angle shot that will cover the whole scene, all the action with the husband washing the dishes, the wife coming in to surprise him. Okay. So we have that. We have the whole scene covered. We know that we are good there. Then we want to come into some close-ups. Let's say as the wife surprises the husband, he turns around. So we want to grab a close-up of his reaction. We also want to cover the other side, basically flipping around to the other side of the set to see the wife's close-up or medium close-up. And then let's say whatever she pulls out from behind her back as a gift, we want to get an extreme close-up of that as an insert shot. So there we already have 4 shots. Do we need to cover the whole scene with each of the close-ups? Maybe, maybe not, right? That is the kind of decisions that we have to make in pre-production so that we're not wasting time on the film shoot. So let's say that we want to cover the whole scene with a master shot, but then we also have the 2 close-ups and the insert shot. Oh, but wait, I want to also get a 2 shot of a profile with the 2 characters in the frame. So I'm going to cover the whole scene with that. And you can see how you can quickly run away with it and start to get into the realm of over covering your scene to where you're just grabbing unnecessary coverage for what the intention of that scene is. Define the most important elements of that scene and focus on those, right? We already have the master of the whole scene. We don't have to worry about covering any other action. But if there's something pertaining, like the wife pulling something out from behind her back to surprise the husband, we want to make sure we cover that if it's important to the scene. And it's likely very important because the whole point of that scene is the surprise, right? Or perhaps it's the reaction of the husband. Maybe he's unhappy with the gift that she's giving him, which would be a rather insightful moment for that particular scene as an example. So when we talk about coverage, make sure you walk a fine line between overcovering, but also having the intention with the coverage that you decide to get. So if you like that, you are going to love the free Filmmaker Masterclass that I'm holding very soon. So head over to filmmakersecrets.com/free. And this is going to be a totally free live masterclass where I'm going to cover a lot of topics pertaining to something like this, where we're talking about coverage. But more importantly, the idea of how do we shoot, write, and edit winning films in under 48 hours without having to buy expensive gear or hire a large crew or go broke again. Okay. So head over to filmmakersecrets.com/free, get signed up, save your spot. It's happening really soon. So you want to make sure to grab your spot. Like I said, it's totally free. Doesn't cost you anything. Just a few moments of your time, which is really an investment in your future as a filmmaker, so that you can really break into your freedom and, grab hold of your audience's attention and ultimately grow your video business, whatever kind of business that you are after, that you are pursuing. So thank you so much for listening to the Filmmaker Secrets podcast. If that was at all helpful in any way, I would really appreciate if you left a kind 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. It really helps other filmmakers discover this show and get the answers to their burning questions. Once again, thank you so much for listening. I'll catch you on the next one. If you like that, then you are going to love my Cine Racing Challenge. This is a 7-day filmmaking competition where your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to write, shoot, and edit a short 60-second film in just 7 days for your one chance to win with over $10,000 in prizes. So head over to cineracing.com. That's cineracing.com to get registered. Spots are filling up fast and the timer is ticking before the next Cine Racing Challenge launches. So be sure to head over to cineracing.com right now to get registered. I'll see you over there.